Don, thanks for sitting down with me.
It's great to be here, Mark.
Now, you're receiving the National Association of Plant Breeders Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
Lifetime achievement. That's a pretty big deal. And as one of your Corteva associates put it, first and foremost, Don is a plant breeder, but his engagement and influence go well beyond. And then he goes on to talk about your engaging and sincere personality and how you've been successful in leading, staffing, and influencing across a broad range of venues. Mm-hmm. Now, you're known as a mentor, and being a mentor to others isn't easy, especially in this industry. How do you go about being successful in that, and what makes a good mentor?
Well, I think that in both of those questions, really it's a very similar answer. And one thing is being able to be a good listener. And I had great mentors in my career. And when you have great mentors and you really truly listen to what the advice you get them, you can't help but to have it rub off on you, and you learn how to be a good mentor. One of the things I talked about today in my talk was that an important part of leadership is following the golden rule. Just treat people as you think they would want to be treated. And if you do that, you can become a very good mentor and to really anybody.
How did you first get interested in this whole plant breeding thing?
Well, it's a long story, but I can try to shorten it up with you. The easy answer is it was in my DNA. And that's a little tongue-in-cheek, but in reality, I can't recall a time in my life that I hadn't had some connection to seeds. It started when I was 3 years old. My father started working for a seed company. And I worked for that seed company all through my teens, learning how all the components of producing, packaging, and delivering seeds to farmer growers. And it was one summer that I volunteered to assist the corn breeder in his breeding nursery. And I was hooked from that point, and I made that decision that day that I was going to pursue a degree in plant breeding. And that's really how it all started.
Now, you were actively involved in merger-related activities between Dow Agrisciences and DuPont Pioneer, particularly Corteva's new plant breeding subfunction. Now, consolidation is always difficult. People can sometimes get a little nostalgic, I think, which can maybe sometimes make us resistant to change. But you really took the bull by the horns, and you were deeply involved every step of the way. How do you stay so open to change, especially such significant change?
Well, there's no problem with being nostalgic. You need to be proud, and I was certainly proud of what we had done at Dow Agrisciences. And the good thing about this whole relationship was Jeff Gran, the leader of the plant breeding organization at Pioneer at that time. We were thrusted together, and our assignment was to design the new plant breeding organization. So one answer is I had no choice. And what I found in my career is when you don't have any choice, you need to just go after it. And what made it so helpful was both Pioneer and Dow Agrisciences plant breeding organization, we were heading in the same direction. Pioneer was slightly ahead in the acceleration of genetic gain and the building of infrastructure to take advantage of new technologies. And we were both heading in the same direction. So I kind of looked at that as jump-starting where my vision with my plant breeding organization was to go. And that made it easier, and I have a lot of respect for Jeff Graham, and we worked well together. It took us 2 years of planning and about 1 year of implementation, and maybe one year of waiting for DOJ to approve the sale. But we got it done. It was a tremendous effort. Not simple, but it was great to get to the finish line and get to the finished finished product and see the organization that Jeff now leads.
You retired from Corteva in 2020.
In 2020, yes.
What are you most proud of when you look back on your entire career?
Oh, there's many experiences that I enjoyed, but probably the biggest one was my credibility as a people leader. I had tremendous staff, and I took that extremely seriously. In fact, in my talk today, I talked about my early experience, and I was hired straight out of plant breeding and put in charge of creating a brand new station. And I did that, and within 1 year, I had land, building, and I hired my first staff. And I found out that I was not a very good people leader. And I took that very seriously and took that harshly. I was just so much of a micromanager in those days that you can tend to suffocate your staff. And I worked on that, and I began treating my staff much better, and we had a very successful early years. And I always remembered that throughout my career.
Before I let you go, receiving this award here at the NAPB meeting, what does that mean to you?
Oh, well, it was a first shock, and it was a surprise when I got the call, and it was somewhat of a testimony of my leadership, because people who worked for me made that effort to do the application, fill out the forms, get people who would write letters of recommendation. And I got a chance to see the letters of recommendations, and I was extremely humbled by the kind responses of people who supported me in my career, inside the company, outside the company, at universities. It was really a humbling experience. And then I settled on kind of a feeling of deep appreciation and gratitude for the support, and especially for an organization like NAPB. NAPB was something that I was involved in from the very beginning of that. And they were here to help me out in my career because we had a shortage of plant breeders at the time. And they were designed to help us. And I just deeply am appreciative of the acknowledgement of what I've done in my career. And so it was nice because it's been 2 years since I've been out, and to suddenly get that call and then be rewarded with the opportunity to come back and talk to the graduate students, which I always loved to do when I was in the field. And it just brings back great memories to come back here and see and talk with all the graduate students and old colleagues.
Thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you very much. It was great to talk to you.